Hey guys, it's Corey from ID Parts. In this video, I'll be doing the front brakes on a Mercedes-Benz Blue Tech diesel. This is an R-Class, but it'll be the same process for an ML or a GL on the 164 chassis that's running like a 2007 through 2010, 2011. I'll be using a brake set from IDParts.com. It comes with, or all our brake sets come with a full set of brake pads as well as rotors. I'll be using a ceramic style pad, which will get rid of this nasty brake dust. New ceramic pads, they don't dust up your wheels. They last a long time, typically twice as long as normal pads. So there's really no reason not to upgrade to ceramic pads. Even though you won't need any special tools, you will need these tools to complete the job. All right, with that out of the way, I will take the wheels off and get this job started. Let's go. First thing that we have to do is remove the caps from the back of the calipers. These protect the guide pins that we'll need to take off next. To take out the guide pins, you'll need a 9mm Allen key or a long reach Allen bit, again 9mm. These aren't too tight, so they shouldn't take too much force to unscrew. Once you have them loosened and you've unscrewed them all the way, you'll actually need to take a flathead screwdriver and push the pin all the way back. That way it doesn't get caught on the carrier as you're moving the caliper. Once you've done that, grab your flathead screwdriver or other pry bar and carefully go from the top of the caliper to the bottom of the caliper until you've pried it all the way off. There will be a little bit of resistance from the pads dragging on the rotor. Remove the caliper and place it on top of the knuckle, being careful not to put too much stress on the brake line. These brake pads are pretty well worn down. We hadn't got the warning light yet, but it's time for these to go. Take some penetrating fluid and spray it on the rotor screw. They can be kind of hard to get out and you don't want to strip it. Next we'll use our T30 Torx bit and remove the rotor screws. Next we'll go behind the knuckle and remove the two 21mm bolts that hold the caliper carrier onto the knuckle. We've got a breaker bar here as well as a pipe for an extension because these are quite tight. They're going to take a lot of force to undo. Once we have them broken loose, we'll just take them out with our ratchet. We'll only remove the top bolt, not the bottom bolt. That way the carrier can swing out of the way enough, but we don't have to take it all the way off. The rotor is stuck to the hub. You can hit it with a mallet a few times to break it free. Then tilt the rotor off the hub and away from the caliper carrier. Take a wire brush and get off all the rust and corrosion that's on the hub, that's on the carrier. You really want to clean these up. Especially, you want to focus on the areas where the new brake pads will be riding, which is kind of on the outside edge there. We'll take some anti-seize and coat the hub before putting the new rotor back on. Secure the rotor with a new rotor screw. Always use new rotor screws to prevent the chances of stripping them in the future. Take off the cap to the brake fluid reservoir. This is a 2-piston style caliper, so we'll have to either carefully use a wind back tool to do one piston at a time, or another way to do it is to use the old brake pad, put it between the two pistons and use channel locks or a C-clamp to push both pistons back at the same time. As you do this, you want to monitor the brake fluid reservoir level and take out any overflow with the baster. Next, we're going to take the caliper slide pins out so that we can clean them and re-grease them. You can see that this pin has a fair amount of debris on it, and that's going to cause the caliper to not slide properly and may eventually lead to one of the pads dragging on the rotor. So we'll clean that up just using a wire brush and re-grease them with some more of that brake glide or anti-seize, and then pop them right back into place. We'll also apply a little bit of this brake lubricating paste to the caliper carrier where the brake pads sit. This is to help the brake pads slide back and forth and not get caught. That way they don't drag on the rotor. Be careful not to get any of the rotor itself because it will contaminate the brake pad material and reduce their performance. Next, we can push the caliper carrier back into place. Just rotate it and catch that first bolt. Get them tightened down with your ratchet, and then you'll need to get your torque wrench to set them to the final torque. Doing the passenger side, you'll need to attach the new brake wear sensor to the inside pad before putting the pad in the car. When you're ready to put the pad in, simply insert the clips into the caliper pistons and squeeze firmly. You want to get the pad completely flush with the piston surfaces. The outside pad is flat with no clips, and that will actually go on the caliper carrier, not on the caliper. Slide it into the carrier, then you can grab the caliper and slide the caliper with the inside pad over the outside pad and the rotor. Grab your 9mm Allen key and tighten back down the caliper slide pins. The torque spec is quite low, so you don't want to over torque these and potentially strip the caliper carrier. If you're working on the passenger side, don't forget to plug in the brake pad wear sensor connector. Finally, we'll reattach the caliper clip to the carrier and the caliper. Put the cap back on your brake fluid reservoir. Hop in the car and push down on the brake pedal. It'll be very soft at first, but it should firm up within 2 or 3 presses. And that's pretty much it for this job. I love doing brake jobs. I love looking at the new hardware on the car, and I love better braking performance instantaneously. It's great. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, send me an email, sales@IDParts.com. Subscribe to the channel to get more diesel videos as I make them. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.